Wait, is it recording?
Yes.
Wait, there was this in the camera?
No.
What? Dude.
I didn't know it.
No.
It's happening at night. I have to leave in like 5 minutes.
Alrighty, hey everybody, my name's Aldair. You all know me, I've been here for 4 years. And Hey Noah, how you doing? How's everybody doing? You all doing good? Yeah,
Great.
I hope so. There aren't any moms in the room, but happy late Mother's Day to Mr. Wallace. I've actually got Happy Mother's Day cookie cake in the back. I was expecting some more parents here. I guess not. That's cool. But you all can help yourselves to some cake. Feel free to take a slice. I don't care. Actually, I took my... Oh, hey, Miss Matthews. No, you're fine.
I was standing right out
You know
there
what,
waiting for you to
you
walk
just
by.
came in time for me telling everybody that they could enjoy some Happy Mother's Day cake, since your mom can taste. But yeah, this Mother's Day, I took out my mom. We went to a picnic, and it was cool. And then we took her out on a walk. We walked through a trail, and for some odd reason, my mom and my dad thought it'd be cute to take a photo shoot in the trail that we were walking to. Could you actually show them the picture? That's my sweet little lady right there. That's me Madre. She's pretty cute. She actually made that crown of leaves herself. I don't know how she made it. I was up in a tree reading a book. I actually got bit by a snake reading the book. But no, I'm good. It's fine. Yeah, so she made the crown of leaves somehow. Don't really know how it happened, but I thought it was the cutest thing. Yeah. I included her in here because she has been of the utmost support for me. She is my literal backbone. I love that lady to death. And I would just like to take a second to thank everybody who was a part of my presentation. Some of my friends and family, Will Worsley, Caroline Knight, Elizabeth Pagan, and my brother Miguel. They all just let me talk to them about my presentation. When I was feeling anxious, I was worried, I didn't really know where it was going. I was scared that it was going to be a dead end, it wasn't going to be good, this and that. And they just were there to hear me talk about it, and were there to kind of get me through it, make it easier for me. I'd like to thank Miss Keith, because she was the lady who had to deal with the most crap. I actually went to her the most, and she helped me through all of this. And my mom for not only helping me with this presentation, but helping me throughout life and helping me throughout high school. Because Lord knows this sure has not been an easy road for me. Part of that being, I actually did not go to CSD, as most of you all have. I actually like that I get to talk to a crowd of people who are in my grades. It makes it a lot easier for me. But most of you all have been here since like kindergarten, middle school, elementary school-ish. The only person I recognize here that just got here in high school is Noah, like sophomore year. Hey Noah, how you doing? Good. But yeah, I never felt like I have been accepted anywhere, and that's not on the fault of you guys. That's only on the fault of where I am and who I am. I used to, little backstory, I used to attend a school in West Charlotte called Paw Creek Elementary School. From there I went to another school called Kip Academy Charlotte. It was a predominantly poor, predominantly black school. And I actually felt like I fit in there. And when I was at Paw Creek, I wasn't yet mature enough, I wasn't yet attentive enough to understand my identity. So at Paw Creek, I didn't care. But when I transitioned from Kip Academy Charlotte to Bailey Middle School, it was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. And I promise you all that. Because if you're a poor Hispanic student and you move to a predominantly upper middle class white community, that is tough. Because you know that nothing's going to change and it's all gonna stay the same. It's hard if you're poor to get out of that situation. But I started to be more self-conscious of who I was and my identity. And then I just kind of rolled with the punches, really. I had no choice. I mean, I had to go to Bailey Middle School, and from Bailey, I went to CSD, and I can tell you all with absolute certainty, I wish I never came here. I wish I went down the road to Huff High School, because at Huff High School, even though it's another predominantly rich, predominantly white high school, it's big. I would be not seen in the crowd. I wouldn't stick out. That's why I wish I never came here. Now, that's nothing to say that CSD is a bad school. It just, it wasn't for me. And that's fine. But with my anxiety and everything, I was confused, and I wasn't for certain if Huff High School was going to be the thing for me. So I needed to find out, and that's what led me to this capstone. Originally, this was going to be, how does an ethnically diverse community differ from a non-ethnically diverse community? But I realized in doing that, that is very, very broad. I had to narrow down my search, and so I did, how does an ethnically diverse school differ from a non-ethnically diverse school? But that was still too broad. And it wasn't that it was so broad, it was just that I spent 4 months worth of research to find out that my answer was nothing. If I had gone to Huff High School, would things be different? Would I be a better student? I would never know the answer because my research led me nowhere. There is little to almost no influence on ethnic diversity in schools. In fact, the most influential factors that play in schools are adequate financial income and stable and supportive families. Those are the biggest two. And if you would like to hear the third, it is good health. But hey, with adequate financial income, that kind of comes along. So from there, it led me to where I am now, my capstone being what factors are most important to student success. And if you could actually click the next slide. This was me at KIPP Academy. You probably can't see me because this projector sucks, but that's me right there. That's little chubby right there on the far left. That's me. Yeah, and could you scroll some more, please? Yeah, that's little me. I used to put my hair in a mohawk because that was a cool thing to do. Yeah, and there I am. I was, if you can read the caption, Aldair performed Precious Moments. I was part of a poetry club. I did poetry. It was not cool. It was really lame. I spent my Saturdays writing poems in a notebook that I still have, and I read them and I cringe each time. But yeah, there's Huff High School. I wasn't ready.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, you did. You did. Actually, could you click twice again?
Twice?
Yeah. Yeah, so here are the schools I looked at. So in order for me to find out what factors play into a student's development and how that goes along with schools, I decided to look at schools in 3 different areas. I decided to look at schools in the Lake Norman area, in West Charlotte, and in sort of in between, sort of like North Charlotte, kind of like, you know, Huntersville-ish. I looked at Huff High School, Lake Norman High School. For the schools in between, I looked at North Mecklenburg High School, Hopewell High School, and Mallard Creek isn't really in that area, but it's sort of in between North Charlotte and Highland Creek, another affluent community. And for the schools in Charlotte, I looked at West Charlotte, West Mecklenburg, and Vance. And could you actually click on that? Yeah. Crap, I wish I had done that.
That's okay. You're gonna come sign in real fast?
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
That's okay. Yeah.
Can y'all please get some cake? Like, I bought one.
Okay, it's an intermission.
You know, I'm not gonna turn no cake down right there.
Hey, what about-
Bro, I got you a napkin right here. No problem, bro.
So how do I,
Just take some.
That's your juice.
bro, I want this one right here though.
Raise
So
your
how am I
legs.
supposed to do that?
No, tomorrow.
Dang, Ben, you got the largest piece in the world.
Yeah.
Is it all vegetables? Vegetables and no, it's sweet. So there's. Oh,
No.
yeah.
Oh, it's not. I don't understand this. We're gonna go through
Thanks, babe.
What did he bring?
it. You're right.
Oh,
It's a Mother's Day thing.
oh, that's mistaken.
He didn't have some.
Me too.
And Ben needs to bring some for his mother's.
Benjamin, means get up and get some.
Yeah, Miss Jen might want some.
Okay, so looking at this graph, I have presented for the first two, like one Lake Norman, schools in between Hopewell, North Mac, Mallard, and the schools in West Charlotte, Vance, and West Mac are the schools that I looked at in Charlotte. I doubt that you all can really read this, so I'll just kind of, I want to let you all know first, before you read any of the numbers on here, why it is important that I look at schools by the area. As you all know, when a school is built, it will attract the students that are in that area. If you build a school in Lake Norman, you're going to attract kids in Lake Norman. Now, what does that mean? That means that you're going to attract students that, for the most part, are white, and for the most part, are upper middle class, maybe rich. And same thing in Charlotte. If you were to build a school there, you build a school that attracts mostly blacks and mostly low-income students. And for in between, you kind of get that, sort of both. That's why I looked at Hopewell North and Mallard to prove that. So when you're looking at Huff, you can see that the percent of adequate income, there are only 18% of students who are eligible for free or reduced lunch. That means that the other 82% are well off when they go home. I don't know what kind of problems they would have at home, but I'm certain that it's nothing compared to the 18% that are suffering, that they have to have the school pay for their lunch. But this is actually an interesting number I'd like to present to you guys. It's the college readiness percentage. If I were to tell you what the college readiness percentage is, what do you guys think it would be? It's pretty self-explanatory. Any ideas?
Wait,
For what school?
For what school?
And like any school, if I asked
College
you what
readiness,
college readiness
like-
percentage is, what do you think it would be?
Out of the whole school?
Like, do you mean, what does that mean? Like,
Yeah,
what does-
what is
what does-
college
what
readiness
does that
percentage?
mean? Yeah,
People
term.
who go to college.
Yeah, just if you were to send your kid to school, what is the chance that they would be ready for college?
Sometimes they measure it by using scores like ACT scores. Some schools,
Right.
some places
Yeah.
measure it by that.
It's actually calculated by the U.S. News and World Report. It's a really simple equation. You take the percentage of high school students who took an AP or IB class who passed, divided by the total amount of students. And some people like to disagree with this number, but I agree with it completely. Only because if you're not willing to take an AP or IB class, the classes that you would be taking in college, you most likely aren't ready for the classes in college, and you most likely aren't ready in college. If you take the classes, good for you, kudos, but if you pass or if you fail, that kind of goes along with it as to if you are ready or not. So I believe in this number completely. I think it is a valid indicator of what percentage of students are ready. And it actually gets kind of sad. If you look at the West Charlotte high school percentage, it's 4.6. So if you think about that, if you were a kid living in West Charlotte and you send you a parent were to send your child to West Charlotte, there is a 4.6% chance that they will be ready for college. And that is a very scary number compared to the 43.8% of Huff and the 54.6% of Lake Norman. And just for funsies, I also looked at the the numbers for community school Davidson. I don't have them listed on here because I thought it would be, I thought it wouldn't be right to list a 1A school compared to 4A school, because obviously it's totally different, and especially since we operate under a different system. But does anybody want to guess what the college readiness percentage is for CSD? Way lower, way lower.
80.
Like 40,
Higher than 40,
54,
a little higher than 54.
60.
55.
No, it's 58 point something percent. So it's the idea that you send your kid to CSD, there's a 58% chance that they will be ready for college. Now this may sound scary to parents, but that's actually a pretty good number considering all the other schools. I mean, that's almost saying if you were to send your child here, it's a coin flip as to if they're ready for college or not. And college is one of the hardest endeavors any American would have to encounter, really. The dropout rate is 1/3 of college students drop out within the first year. I believe it is, Ms. McAfee, do you know, like, within 4 years, it's 54%?
Yeah, it
That-
can be, depends on which schools, and there's just a lot of.
I think if you're looking for a 4-year degree, I think 54% actually get it, and the others, they drop out. So if you were to tell me that if you send your kid here, there's a, coin flip of a chance that they will be able to get a degree, I would totally take it. But, yeah, that's really about it. I don't have anything to conclude with this, only because I was looking at a different thing. I wanted to know how ethnic diversity mattered, especially with me, a poor Hispanic student in a predominantly upper middle class white school. I felt so different. I was curious the entire ride up to senior year, and being able to tackle this project made me realize now that there is no difference. It was only a matter of how I handled it and what I did.
Aldair, could we as a school do something better though? What could we do? If CSD wasn't the place for you, it makes me, we want to do better. We hope that would be better. What could we do to make someone who?
That is a totally different research. That's a totally
But on a
different.
personal, could you think of
different.
one thing that if this would have happened, that would have made my experience better? I'm putting you on the spot right now. Yeah, do you want to take Emily's question?
I would have to agree with Aldair, and it's not like the learning environment, it's the people. Like, for me, I had bad experiences with CSD, like, most of the time, just because of the people. Like, if I went to a bigger school like Huff, would I have more friends? Like, would I have more diversity with my friends and stuff? So I kind of get where he's coming from.
I did like when you said that you, when you felt like KIPP was your, you felt that was your place, and then, but prior to that, you said, well, I really wasn't ready and mature enough to realize. I think that this presentation took a lot of maturity to kind of analyze all that and to think and to dig deeply, so I appreciate that you did all of this.
Yeah, well, not nowadays, I've kind of just accepted my identity, realizing that I had no part in the situation I'm in right now. I could have done nothing about it. So I just had to accept it and let my anxieties and all my fears and worries just go away and come at it with the best attitude.
Do you feel like you're prepared to go on to that next step?
Next step. of
Like
what?
whatever your path is, whatever you choose to do.
Well, I've decided to take a gap year because I feel like I'm not ready for high school or for college, because I battled depression for a while, and I was just really tough, and I feel like I, of all people, need a break from school completely before I open up another textbook.
Again, another
And I was actually going to do CP 2 years, and then I thought, no, I just need a break. I'm tired at this point. Yeah.
Yes. A long and arduous journey, but we are whether or not you have felt like this has been the place for you, you have made our community better, and we are happy that you are here. And we are thrilled that you are a member since ninth grade. We wish we would have had you.
I have a question too. Can you talk a little bit about where you got your title? Because I wasn't sure when I saw this on paper, I wasn't sure, like, what, I was very curious about what it was about.
Why schools aren't to blame?
Yeah,
Well,
how did
Do
you
you want me to
get
go back to that?
no, you can actually, that was what I had pulled up. So schools aren't to blame because when somebody asks you why aren't students doing well, the school has no part in why students aren't doing well. A school is built wherever it is built, and it will attract students from wherever it is. Hence, the school is in Lake Norman. I strongly believe if I were to build a school in Lake Norman and operate it the same way as I would a school in Charlotte, the school in Lake Norman would do so much better than the school in Charlotte, only because of the students I'm pulling. Whatever that school does can't help that in any way.
So you feel like the students are at a disadvantage? I get what you're saying because like, you know, like for instance, our school, I think one of the big downsides to our school is the lack of diversity because of the like geographic location of where we are. We're so, you know, it's hard for transportation for students on the west side of town or even uptown to get transportation because we don't provide buses. And so, you know, there's obstacles in the way, right? When you have families that are coming from low economic populations, it creates barriers to that. And like, you know, I think the schools like in CMS, if you look at it now, there's always in turmoil about how to fix that and how to handle that. Have you been kind of following along that? Does that, like doing this research, does it make you a little bit more curious about, like for instance, what's going on in CMS right now with reassignment? Where they're trying to redistrict and draw the lines to create more diversity and to kind of help fix this problem. Some people think that's the solution by doing that, and then some people disagree with that. But does it like, after doing this, it would make me like I would wonder, like, gosh, what's going on in my outside community too? Yeah, I would have lots of questions.
Right, well, I will answer that.
Mhm.
But first, I'd just like to say that the premise of this was to really debunk the idea that schools are the one that are failing kids, because it's really not the school's fault who you're attracting. If you pull students from an affluent community, they're going to do well. And there's students who are pulled from a poor community. I mean, if you look at West Charlotte, 86% of them are eligible for free or reduced lunch. That means like 86% of them worry for what they're going to be eating throughout the day. And that's why the numbers are reflective as to what percentage of them are ready for college. So going back to what you were asking about why the title, it's just that schools really aren't to blame. It's where they're placed, and school success is determined off of one factor, and that's what percentage of these students are successful. But now student success has numerous factors. The two biggest ones, as I said earlier, were adequate income and stable and supportive families. But looking past this, and when you asked the, I'm sorry, what was your question?
Just like how you got the name and.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then like, you know, does it like, you know, like now, like I would, you know, after, what does it make you think about next, I guess, after spending a little bit of time over England, thinking about this? You know?
Think about how you could fix a school.
And that's a big loaded question, like you said, you know,
Right.
that's a, yeah.
That's a completely different project. One of the things that is key is the size of schools. So only reason why I didn't use CSD in any of this research was because a big public high school, kids are going to behave differently. You can't really hide. You can hide in a big public high school, but you couldn't hide here at CSD. Everybody kind of knows your face, knows who you are. So you would behave differently, and you would focus on academics a different way. You would approach it differently. But yeah, that's a completely different research. I think people people are still kind of looking into that. But my take on how you can make schools better is CMS is actually, they're operating differently. I remember Deering was talking about this in our English class last year with how they attract their students. I think maybe it could work. We're just gonna have to see, but ultimately, schools really have no control over what percentage of their students are passing or not. It's just life outside of home for the students and where that school is placed that will determine that. Sorry.
No,
I can't
that's
really-
good, you good, no, that's good.
I can't really answer your question. I keep going back to what I'm saying because
No, that's
there
good.
isn't enough. That's a completely different research and something I didn't look into, and regions still being known.
It's a big problem. It's been going on for a long time, so, yeah. Very complicated.
It's a toughie.
It is.
What do I do?
I'm gonna go give Aldair a big hug because he just filled my belly. And my belly got happy.
Something I'm good at.
Aldair, you filled my belly.
Let's do 8 more than 8. I'll eat.
Versus? Yes. Okay. It's right.
Check this out. Yeah. Not bad. He's good.
I want to sit.
Yeah, it's in here. Hey, how are you?